The golden chamber of the Galactic Council was filled with 1,000 voices. Towers of light rose around the room, each one representing a different species, each voice shouting, arguing, accusing. In the center, a giant projection of Earth spun slowly, the blue oceans glowing under the light. Every alien eye was fixed on that world. The Speaker of the Council raised his hand, silencing the noise, his long insect limbs folding back as his voice carried across the hall. The matter before us is simple. Humanity has been judged. The question is not if they are dangerous, but how dangerous they are. Shall we brand Earth as a universal threat? The words spread like fire. Murmurs, whispers, and harsh laughter filled the air. Old scars were being torn open. Some species remembered human explorers from centuries ago. They recalled burning colonies, broken treaties, sudden wars started without warning. Others spoke of rumors that humans had vanished, sealed off their world, and no one had dared to test their strength since. The chamber trembled with fear and hate. An avian delegate slammed his wings against his podium, feathers scattering into the air. We cannot allow them to grow unchecked. They are predators born from a death world. Every time humans touch the stars, blood follows. Do you want history to repeat? A reptilian general hissed in agreement, scales glinting under the bright council lamps. If they rise again, it will not just be one empire they fight, it will be all of us. They must be marked, controlled, or destroyed before they return to power. The chamber erupted with shouts of approval, but there were voices of doubt as well. A thin, crystalline ambassador spoke in a voice that rang like glass. But Earth has been silent for 300 years. No fleets, no colonies, no attacks. Perhaps humanity has changed. Perhaps they seek peace. The words drew bitter laughter from across the chamber. Peace! A heavy-set aquatic delegate thundered, his gills flaring. Do you expect peace from a species that once turned entire moons into weapon platforms? They do not change. They wait, they hide, and then they strike. The council chamber's light dimmed as the speaker prepared the vote. Suspense hung heavy in the air. Every species, every empire, waited for the decision that could shape the galaxy's future. Holographic sigils lit up above each podium one by one, glowing red for yes, blue for no. Red spread faster than blue. One after another, the empires marked their answer. Humanity was a threat. Humanity must be contained. Humanity must be controlled. The chamber filled with red light like a warning flame. The speaker's final words echoed like thunder. By the majority vote of this council, Earth and its people are branded a galactic threat. Any human ships found beyond their star system will be intercepted. Any human colonies will be dismantled. From this day, humanity is the danger. The declaration was carved into the records of the council, a judgment that could never be erased. The chamber roared with triumph and relief, but not everyone cheered. In the shadows of the observation decks, silent figures watched. Hidden, cloaked, they wore armor of black steel and helmets with glowing visors. They were not part of the council, nor of any known empire. They said nothing, but their presence alone sent shivers down the spines of the guards. And then, just as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished into thin air. Back on Earth, deep beneath the mountains, secret command centers came alive. Lights flickered across massive screens, showing the council's vote. Human generals stood in silence, their eyes hard, their jaws clenched. For centuries they had prepared for this moment. They had watched, learned, and built in silence, hidden from alien eyes. Around the globe, giant warships stirred in their docks, rising slowly from underground hangars and ocean caverns. Their hulls shimmered black against the starlight, armed with weapons no alien council could even imagine. Human soldiers marched into position, their armor polished, their weapons humming with power. No words were spoken, only orders carried through encrypted channels. Humanity had been branded a threat, and now the galaxy would learn what that truly meant. Back in the chamber, just as the speaker prepared to dismiss the council, a sharp alarm cut through the silence. Holographic screens flared to life, showing images from probes near Earth. Every delegate froze. Their mocking voices died. The screens showed massive structures rising into orbit, larger than any alien dreadnought, forming into a wall of black steel and light. Human warships, dozens, maybe hundreds, lifting from Earth, engines burning like fire, gasps echoed, claws scraped against podiums. Some delegates stumbled back, their faces pale with shock. The avian who had demanded humanity's destruction now stood frozen, wings trembling. The reptilian general hissed, his voice breaking with fear. Impossible. They were never supposed to have this. Not so soon. The speaker's voice cracked for the first time. What are those ships? And then, in the silence of the chamber, a transmission broke through every channel. A human voice, calm, steady, filled the air. The council has spoken, so have we. The screens flickered, showing the face of a human commander. Cold eyes stared into the council chamber as if he could see each alien standing there. You have judged us a threat. Then you will see how right you are. The signal cut, leaving only silence and the glow of red warning lights across the chamber. The council sat frozen, and for the first time in centuries, they were afraid. As the council tried to regain order, sensors screamed again, unknown human fleets rising not only from Earth, but from the dark edges of space, where no one believed humans lived. The alarms in the council chamber did not stop. The screens showed Earth from orbit, and with every passing moment, more warships appeared. At first it was dozens, then hundreds, their dark hulls shining like blades in the night. These were not old vessels, patched together by a struggling planet. They were giants. Their engines glowed with power no alien sensor could fully read. Their weapons lined with strange energy signatures, and their formation was flawless, as if they had drilled for centuries without pause. The chamber fell into silence, every delegate staring, every thought the same. Humanity had been waiting. Far away above Earth, the war fleet moved in silence. Colossal ships, some as large as alien city carriers, rose from hidden launch bays under the oceans. Massive doors cracked open on the seabed, and black silhouettes emerged like shadows of predators from the deep. Their engines lit the dark waters, shaking the seas, and then the ships broke the surface, rising through storms and lightning into the sky. The clouds glowed with fire as the warships pierced through, joining the growing wall of steel that circled Earth. For every ship counted. 10 more appeared behind it. Alien observers stationed near the Sol system panicked. Their tiny scout crafts were dwarfed by the fleet that now took shape. Messages were sent to their empires, frantic reports describing human dreadnoughts, carriers, and destroyers bristling with weaponry that should not exist. One alien commander whispered to himself, "This is not possible." Their world was silent. They were supposed to be weak. Yet even as he spoke, another signal flashed across his deck. New readings showed movement beyond Earth, far into the asteroid belt. Something enormous stirred in the shadows of rock and metal. The alien fleet dispatched to contain humanity approached the belt with arrogance, their admiral certain that Earth's fleet was bluff. His ships spread wide, their banners glowing with pride. "Show them the Council's will," the admiral ordered, his voice sharp. "Force them to kneel before the galaxy." Hundreds of alien cruisers moved closer, their guns armed, their shields raised. They expected to find primitive defenses or scattered outposts. Instead, silence greeted them. Then one by one their ships began to vanish. It happened without sound, without warning. Sensors flickered, screams filled the channels, and then the signals were gone. Entire cruisers disappeared from the maps as if sliced from existence. Fragments drifted out of the asteroid shadows, burning wreckage glowing faintly as bodies tumbled into the void. The admiral's proud voice cracked into a cry. "What is happening? Who is firing? Where is the enemy?" No answer came. His last sight before his flagship fell was a black spear of light tearing through space, striking with such precision that his ship split in two. His fleet was gone. The report reached the council chamber minutes later. The alien delegates stared at the destruction, their scales pale, their wings folded, their claws tapping in panic. An entire fleet, one whispered, unable to believe. "Destroyed in silence," another muttered. The crystalline ambassador's voice shook. "No alien power has such weapons, not even the ancients. Only one species could hide such a blade for so long." All eyes turned back to Earth's projection. The blue planet spun slowly, now shielded by its monstrous fleet. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, the truth unfolded. Hidden beneath mountains, within deep oceans, and under deserts, humans had built more than ships. They had created entire industries underground, shielded from detection. Gigantic forges glowed, hammers of machines struck, and weapons never seen in alien history rolled out of factories built in secret. Human soldiers stood in lines, their black armor polished to a mirror shine. They moved with a silence that was more frightening than war cries. These were not armies of fear, they were armies of purpose. Generals walked among them, their voices low, their words measured. Humanity had waited for this judgment, and now the time had come to reveal the truth. In orbit, alien probes tried to transmit data, but human fleets moved faster than light. Small drones darted through the void, intercepting the probes, tearing them apart before they could escape. Only fragments of images reached alien empires. They saw enough. Warships the size of floating fortresses, sleek frigates vanishing into warp space with impossible speed, and strange glowing weapons that pulsed with unnatural energy. No one understood the technology, but everyone felt the same chill. Humanity had leapt centuries ahead, while the galaxy slept in false security. Back in the Council, chaos erupted. Some shouted for immediate war. Others begged for negotiations. The speaker's voice cracked as he tried to silence the chamber. "We must not panic. They are still one world, one system. United, our fleets can contain them." His words were drowned by the sound of fear. The reptilian general snarled, his claws scraping the podium. "Contain? Did you not see what happened to my fleet? They did not even fight us. They erased us. If this is containment, then none of us are safe." The avian delegate, who once demanded humanity's destruction, now sat trembling. His feathers shook, his voice weak. "If they march beyond Earth, if they choose war, the galaxy will burn." The crystalline ambassador whispered the question none dared to answer. "Or perhaps they march not for war, but for something worse, for judgment." And then the chamber lights dimmed again. New signals cut through every empire's channels. The human fleet above Earth shifted formation, their ships aligning into a perfect wall of black steel. Then a massive structure rose from Earth's orbit, larger than any ship ever recorded, its surface glowing with strange symbols. A voice, calm and cold, spread across every corner of the galaxy. "You call us a threat. You are right, but not for the reasons you think." The signal ended, leaving the Council frozen. Every alien knew the truth. This was only the beginning. Just as silence fell, sensors screamed again. Fleets of human ships emerging not only from Earth, but from hidden colonies scattered across deep space. Colonies no alien even knew existed. The Council chamber was still echoing, with the human commander's chilling words when the next report arrived. The holographic screens showed drifting wreckage in the asteroid belt. Alien ships that had once gleamed with pride now floated as broken husks, torn apart with terrifying precision. Hulls were split in clean lines, reactors gutted, crews gone. The fleet sent to contain Earth was no more. They had not even died in battle. They had been carved apart like prey. The images spread across the chamber, each delegate staring in horror. Entire dreadnoughts reduced to silent corpses, their banners torn, their signals dead. It was not war, it was slaughter. An eerie quiet filled the Council. Some delegates bowed their heads, unable to meet the sight. Others whispered in fear. What kind of weapons can cut a cruiser in half with one strike? No alien empire has this power. The crystalline ambassador's voice shook, ringing like fractured glass. This is not the work of new science. This is the work of time. Humanity has not been silent because it was weak. Humanity has been silent because it was waiting. Alien recovery crews dared to enter the graveyard. Their ships crept through the broken field of wreckage, scanners wide open. What they found was worse than anyone feared. The cuts in the metal were not the result of plasma or missiles. They were smooth, surgical, like blades of light had passed through. Even the black box recordings from alien flagships gave no clear answer, only screams, static, and one final image of black human ships emerging from the shadows before the feed went dark. The recovery commander whispered over the open channel, his voice trembling. It was no ambush. It was no trick. They were waiting in the dark, among the rocks. They let us come close. Then they struck. And they did it without firing a single shot we could see. The words chilled every council delegate. No one could explain weapons they could not detect. No one could fight an enemy they could not see. In the chamber, the reptilian general's scales darkened with rage, though his voice betrayed his fear. If humans possess such technology, no fleet can stand against them. They cut down my people as if they were nothing. The avian delegate's wings trembled, feathers falling around him. And if they can destroy fleets so silently, how many more are already gone? How many colonies could vanish before we even notice? The Speaker of the Council slammed his clawed hand on the podium, trying to control the panic. We are still united. Billions of ships stand across our empires. Humanity is only one world. But his voice faltered as the crystalline ambassador interrupted with cold truth. One world. Look again. The fleets rising in the void are not only from Earth, they are from colonies the Council swore never existed. Colonies hidden in the farthest reaches of space. Humanity is not one world. Humanity is many. Back in the silent graveyard, recovery crews sent their final desperate transmissions. They had discovered something far darker among the wreckage. Strange devices floated in the debris, black spheres humming with unknown energy. When touched, they shattered, releasing pulses of light that erased the machines scanning them. One captain's final scream echoed through the chamber. They left traps. The dead fleet is not just wreckage, it's a warning. The transmission cut out, leaving only static. The chamber plunged into chaos. Delegates shouted, some demanding immediate surrender, others screaming for war. The speaker's voice broke, trembling. If humanity truly prepared in silence for 3 centuries, then we stand on the edge of extinction. His words echoed like a death sentence. Far from the council, in a hidden human command center buried deep beneath the Earth's crust, the generals watched the alien panic unfold. One spoke softly, his face illuminated by screens filled with alien chatter. They fear us, but they do not understand us. Another general nodded, his hand tightening on the edge of the console. Good, let them fear. Fear will keep them from striking again. But if they do... His words trailed off as the room darkened, screens showing fresh data. Human fleets were not just defending Earth. They were moving outward, spreading into nearby systems with terrifying speed. Alien empires scrambled, dispatching new fleets, desperate to prepare defenses. Yet every sensor report brought the same truth. Wherever the aliens expected to find human weakness, they found human strength. Hidden outposts, secret dockyards, and colonies long concealed burst into life. Humanity had planted seeds across the stars while the galaxy slept. Now those seeds had grown into weapons. In the chamber, silence fell once more as a new signal cut through. It was not from the Council, not from Earth. It came from the graveyard itself. Holograms flickered, showing a human figure standing among the wreckage of the destroyed fleet. His armor gleamed black, his visor glowing red. He spoke with a voice calm and steady, carrying across every channel in the galaxy. You sent your ships to judge us? Now they rest among the rocks. Look upon their silence, and know this truth. If you brand us monsters, then monsters we shall be. The hologram vanished, leaving only the image of wreckage spinning endlessly in the void. The council chamber was filled with whispers of fear. No one dared to speak above the quiet. Humanity had spoken, not with words, but with destruction. As the delegates sat frozen, new alarms blared. Probes across the galaxy lit up with warnings. Giant human war fleets were leaving orbit, not just defending Earth, but moving toward alien space. The galaxy held its breath. From every corner of known space, probes screamed warnings. Human fleets were no longer just guarding Earth. They were moving. Black ships poured from hidden colonies in deep space, from asteroid fortresses, and from silent stations orbiting dead suns. Thousands of vessels aligned into sharp formations, their hulls gleaming like blades under distant starlight. The report spread faster than light, crashing into the chambers of the council, flooding every alien empire with the same terrible truth. Humanity was not hiding anymore. Humanity was marching. Alien rulers panicked. The chamber filled with voices crying for defense, others for surrender. The speaker tried to keep control, but his voice cracked under the weight of fear. "They're only one species," he shouted. "United, our fleets outnumber them 100 to 1. If we move now, we can crush their uprising before it spreads." His words echoed across the chamber, and for a moment, silence followed. Then the reptilian general hissed, his eyes glowing with hatred. "Then let us gather our armadas. Let us show humanity that the galaxy will not bow." The order went out. Across the stars, the galaxy's greatest war fleets began to move. Enormous alien dreadnoughts, city ships, carriers and cruisers left their home systems, engines blazing. Tens of thousands of ships gathered into one of the largest fleets ever assembled. They filled the void with banners of every empire, colors shining against the dark, weapons charged. Their admirals spoke with pride, convincing themselves of victory. "We will strike before they spread further. Humanity will kneel or they will burn." The fleets closed in on the Sol system. The view was terrifying. Thousands of alien ships stretching across the stars like a wall of fire. Alien crews shouted with confidence, their weapons ready. But when they arrived, their pride turned to silence, for waiting beyond Earth was the human fleet. They had expected hundreds, maybe thousands. Instead, they faced something far worse. Black and silver warships filled the system, their numbers uncountable, their formation perfect. Gigantic dreadnoughts hung in the void like mountains of steel, each one pulsing with strange blue light along its hull. Carriers opened their bays, releasing swarms of smaller ships that darted like predators in the dark. At the heart of the armada floated a ship larger than any seen before, a fortress so vast it could blot out entire stars. The alien admirals faltered. Their crews whispered in fear. This is not possible. Their world could not have built this. No single planet could forge such power. But deep down, they knew the truth. Humanity had not been building alone. They had spread quietly, planting colonies in the farthest reaches of space, hidden from alien eyes. For centuries, they had forged weapons and fleets in silence. And now, their shadow empire revealed itself in full. The two armadas faced one another across the void. The alien fleet burned with color, banners shining, cannons glowing. The human fleet stood in silence, their black hulls absorbing the light. Their ships aligned like soldiers ready for a killing blow. No sound, no boasting, no warning. Only silence, as if the void itself held its breath. Then across every channel a human voice spoke. Calm, cold, unshaken. "You come with your fleets to contain us. You believe numbers will save you. But numbers mean nothing against will. This is your final chance. Stand down, or watch what happens next." The message cut, leaving the alien fleets in silence. Admirals shouted at one another in confusion. Some screamed for caution, others demanded immediate fire. The reptilian general's flagship burned with anger. "Do not be fooled. They are only one species." "Fire!" The order was given. The first alien dreadnought launched its barrage, a storm of plasma tearing through the dark. Thousands of cannons followed, the void exploding in fire as the largest volley in history was unleashed. For a moment, alien fleets roared with triumph. But when the fire cleared, their triumph died. The human ships had not moved. Their shields, glowing faintly blue, had absorbed the storm as if it were nothing more than dust against stone. No hulls were broken, no ships destroyed. The galaxy's greatest armada had fired its full fury, and humanity had not even flinched. The alien crews froze in terror. And then the human fleet moved. Slowly, deliberately, the black ships shifted formation. Weapon bays opened, revealing rows of cannons glowing with an unnatural energy. Engines flared like burning suns, and the entire armada turned its weapons toward the alien fleet. The human commander's voice returned, colder than before. "You wanted war. Now you will see it." The void trembled as the first human salvo fired. Beams of pure light sliced through the darkness, cutting across alien lines with impossible speed. Ships that had survived centuries of battles were torn apart in seconds. Entire formations disintegrated under the human barrage. Alien shields collapsed like paper, their proud dreadnoughts shattering into fragments. The void became a graveyard, filled with burning wreckage and silent screams. Yet even as destruction spread, the humans did not finish their attack. After the first strike, their weapons went silent. Alien fleets, broken and scattered, drifted in confusion. Survivors gasped in fear, expecting the killing blow. But the humans only watched, their black ships standing like executioners, waiting for the next command. Back in the council chamber, the delegates leaned forward, their faces pale with terror. They expected humans to finish the slaughter. Instead, the chamber screen shifted to a new image. A set of coordinates glowed across the stars. And then a human voice spoke again, calm and steady. "If you wish to know why we prepared, come here. And pray you arrive in time." The chamber fell into silence. The coordinates pointed not to Earth, but to the far reaches of deep space. Somewhere beyond the maps, beyond the stars claimed by any empire, something waited. Something the humans wanted the galaxy to see. Probes near the coordinates suddenly went dark. Their last transmission showing a massive structure, an ancient prison sealed in the void, and inside, something stirring awake. The coordinates burned across every council screen like a brand. Delegates leaned forward, claws gripping podiums, wings trembling, crystals humming in fear. No one understood why humanity would reveal such a place. No one wanted to travel into the unknown. Yet the image of the destroyed fleet still lingered, and the truth was clear. If the humans demanded the council to come, then they would have no choice. Armadas were dispatched, probes launched into the void, and rumors spread through the empires like wildfire. Some whispered it was a trap, others believed it was a test. But one fear stood above the rest, that humans were not the only monsters hiding in the dark. The first fleets arrived at the coordinates days later. What they saw chilled them to the bone. Suspended in the void, hidden behind shattered stars and drifting ice fields, was an enormous structure. Its shape was jagged, like a black crown of broken teeth surrounding a massive core. Strange symbols glowed faintly along its surface, ancient and alien. It was not human. It was not council. It was something older, something that should never have been found. And within that dark prison, something moved. Before the fleets could even scan the surface, the humans arrived. Warships poured from the void, sliding silently into formation around the ancient structure. Their engines glowed faint blue, casting light across the prison's walls. The alien fleets tensed, weapons armed, but the humans did not attack. Instead, a signal cut across every channel. The human commander's face filled the screens once more. His eyes were cold, his voice steady. "This is why we prepared. This is what you forgot. We did not build our fleets for you. We built them for what sleeps inside this cage." Confusion spread among the council delegates. The crystalline ambassador whispered, his voice trembling, "If this is a prison, who built it? And who lies within?" Before anyone could answer, the prison shook. The walls of the structure trembled, glowing with cracks of red fire. The fleets watched in horror as claws of energy scraped against the prison's inner walls, something massive trying to break free. Probes sent close disintegrated instantly, their signals cut in silence. The chamber filled with gasps and cries. The reptilian general roared in denial. "This is a trick. They forged this structure to frighten us." But even as he shouted, the prison walls split wider, a deafening hum rattling through every ship in the system. A monstrous roar echoed across the void, not carried by sound but by sheer force of energy. Every crew felt it in their bones. It was not human. It was not alien. It was something older, something bred only for destruction. The human commander's voice cut through the terror. "We were the wardens. Centuries ago we fought them when no one else could. We locked them here at the edge of space. But you erased the truth. You called us dangerous because you feared what we had done. And now the walls weaken because you forgot. The prison cracked again, brighter than before. Shapes moved behind the glowing fissures, colossal shadows with teeth like blades, wings that blotted out starlight and eyes burning red. Alien crews screamed, their admirals ordering retreat. But the humans did not move. Their warships held position, facing the prison with weapons glowing, engines burning brighter, and then the inevitable happened. The prison split wide, releasing a storm of monsters into the void. They poured out like a tide of nightmares, their bodies armored with living metal, their mouths glowing with fire. One by one, the creatures hurled themselves at the alien fleets. The first alien dreadnought vanished in seconds, torn apart by claws that pierced shields like paper. Smaller ships were crushed in the monsters' jaws, shattered into burning fragments. Alien fleets broke formation, chaos spreading through every line. Cries for help filled the channels. Orders dissolved into screams. The galaxy's greatest armies were reduced to prey, scattered and dying in the void. But then the storm shifted. Humanity unleashed its fury. The silent Black Fleet erupted into fire, their weapons blazing like suns. Beams of light cut through the void, slicing monsters apart with surgical precision. Missiles streaked out in swarms, exploding in bursts that tore wings from the beasts. Carriers released wave after wave of fighters, their engines screaming as they struck at the monsters' eyes and joints. Human soldiers aboard boarding ships launched themselves directly onto the beasts, detonating charges that ripped them apart from within. For the first time, the galaxies saw humanity fight not against them, but for them. And it was terrifying. Alien admirals, frozen with fear, could only watch as human warships carved through the monsters with brutal efficiency. Every maneuver was perfect, every strike lethal. They fought like predators who had studied their prey for generations. They had. This was not their first war with these creatures. It was only the next. Still, the battle was not clean. Monsters overwhelmed ships, tearing human frigates in half, dragging carriers into the prison's burning cracks. Soldiers screamed as boarding pods were swallowed whole. The void became a storm of blood and fire. Humanity fought harder, pushing back wave after wave, but the cost grew. And then the largest of the monsters appeared. It rose from the prison like a mountain, breaking free from the earth. Its wings stretched wider than any fleet, its eyes burned like two suns, and its roar shook entire systems. Even the humans froze. The council chamber fell silent, every alien ruler staring in terror. If the smaller beasts could destroy fleets, then this one could erase entire worlds. The human commander's voice returned, quieter, almost grim. This is the enemy we have prepared for. This is why we built our fleets. And now you will decide if you stand with us, or if you die with them. The monster spread its wings, casting its shadow across both fleets, alien and human alike. Its maw opened, glowing with energy enough to tear the stars themselves. The beast unleashed its first attack, a wave of fire that shattered hundreds of alien ships in an instant. Heading straight for Earth's warfleet. The void burned as the giant beast unleashed its attack. A wave of fire ripped through the alien fleet, melting shields and tearing ships apart as if they were made of paper. Hundreds of vessels disintegrated in an instant, their crews screaming before their signals went silent. Fragments of glowing metal spun into the dark, drifting like sparks from a dying fire. The council chamber echoed with cries of terror as rulers watched their proud fleets collapse. Some covered their faces, others trembled, but no one could look away. The monster's shadow fell across the human fleet next. Its maw glowed brighter, preparing another strike, its roar echoing through every channel like a drum of death. But this time, the humans did not stay still. Their warfleet shifted in perfect unison, engines burning white. Dreadnoughts formed a wall, carriers dropped swarms of fighters, and frigates darted forward, moving as one body, one will. Then their counter-strike came. Beams of blue light lanced from human dreadnoughts, cutting through the monster's wings and sending pieces of burning flesh drifting into the void. Missiles screamed from hidden bays, detonating along the creature's armored hide in bursts of fire. Fighters swarmed its head, targeting its glowing eyes, their weapons hammering relentlessly. For every strike the beast gave, humanity gave 3 back. The void became a storm of light, human weapons burning brighter than any star. The alien fleets, broken and scattered, could only watch in shock. They had never seen war fought like this. Humanity moved with precision, with discipline, with fury, honed over centuries. Their ships did not falter, their soldiers did not break. They fought not with fear, but with cold resolve. Alien admirals whispered in disbelief, their voices shaking. They are not just fighting, they are remembering. They have done this before, and it was true. Humanity had fought these monsters long ago. Deep within the archives of Earth, the story was known, but never told. Centuries earlier, these nightmare creatures had poured into the galaxy, destroying entire civilizations. The Council, weak and fractured, had been powerless. But the humans, alone, outnumbered, outmatched, had fought back. They had bled, they had burned, but they had won. With weapons forged in desperation, with courage no other species could summon, they had trapped the monsters in this prison at the edge of the void. The galaxy had been saved, but the price had been high. And in their fear, the Council erased the truth. Instead of honoring humanity, they branded them violent, dangerous, untrustworthy. They buried history to hide their shame. Now the truth returned, carried on the roar of battle. Humanity had not forgotten. Humanity had prepared. The enemy was awake again, and only humans knew how to fight them. The monster bellowed, its wings thrashing, scattering human ships like leaves in a storm. Dozens of frigates were crushed, their wreckage swallowed by the beast's jaws. Carriers exploded in balls of fire, fighters spiraling out into the void. But humanity did not retreat. Soldiers screamed defiance as their ships broke apart, using their final moments to ram into the creature, detonating charges that ripped pieces of its hide away. The council chamber watched in stunned silence as the humans sacrificed without hesitation every life given to slow the beast's fury. At the heart of the fleet, the colossal human flagship moved forward. Its hull gleamed black, its weapons glowing with blue fire, its engines roaring like thunder. From its core, a weapon charged, a spear of light unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Alien rulers gasped, recognizing no design, no science that could explain it. The crystalline ambassador whispered, "What is that?" The answer came as the ship fired. The spear of light shot across the void, piercing straight into the monster's chest. The creature roared, its body twisting, blood like burning plasma spilling into space. The wound was massive, but it did not fall. Instead, its eyes glowed brighter. Its wings spread wider, and its fury shook the stars. With a single strike of its claws, it tore through the flagship's shields, ripping deep into its hull. Explosions ripped across the mighty vessel, alarms screaming. Still, the ship did not retreat. Its weapons kept firing even as its body broke apart. Back in the council, panic consumed the chamber. Delegates screamed at one another, demanding retreat, demanding surrender, demanding anything that might save them. But amidst the chaos, one truth settled heavy in every heart. They could not win without humanity. The very species they had branded a threat now stood as their only shield. In the void, the human commander's voice rang out once more, even as his flagship burned. His words were calm, steady, carrying through the flames. "This is the enemy you forgot. This is why we prepared. This is why you feared us. Because you knew, deep down, that when the storm returned, only humanity could face it." The beast roared again, swiping its wings and destroying another wave of alien ships. Human fleets surged back, regrouping, their weapons ready for another strike. The battle was not over. It had only begun. The prison gates, cracked and broken, flared with light again. More shadows stirred within, darker and larger than the beast already unleashed. The council watched in horror as dozens more colossal shapes began to rise from the void. Humanity's war was only starting. The prison gates tore wider. From the burning cracks, more shadows moved, each larger than the last. The void trembled with their cries, deep roars that carried across every fleet, rattling metal and chilling bone. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates screamed, wings flapped, claws scraped against podiums. Crystalline voices shattered into sharp echoes. They had feared humanity, branded Earth a threat, but now, as the monsters poured from the prison, every ruler realized the terrible truth. Without humans, they were already dead. On the battlefield, the human fleet stood firm. Their ships, though battered and broken, held formation against the tide. Waiters swarmed like angry sparks, dreadnoughts fired beams of blinding light, and boarding pods slammed into monsters, detonating with suicidal fury. Alien fleets, scattered and shattered, tried to regroup behind them. Admirals who once mocked humanity now whispered desperate orders to follow their lead. For the first time in history, alien armadas looked not to the Council but to Earth. The largest of the beasts roared, its glowing maw preparing another strike. Human dreadnoughts turned, shields flaring, ready to take the blow. The weapon came, a storm of fire that ripped through the void. Shields collapsed, hulls shattered, soldiers burned. Yet still humanity did not break. Their commander's voice cut through the flames. "Hold the line. If they pass us, the galaxy falls." The council chamber fell silent. Every alien ruler stared at the burning screens, their arrogance stripped away. The avian delegate, who once called for Earth's destruction, trembled with his wings folded tight. "They fight for us," he whispered, feathers falling around him. The reptilian general bowed his head, shame heavy in his eyes. "We condemned them as predators, but they are the shield." Even the crystalline ambassador, once uncertain, lowered his gleaming form in sorrow. "We erased the truth. We buried their sacrifice. And now we beg them to save us again." The speaker of the council, his insect limbs shaking, stood slowly. His voice cracked as he addressed the chamber. "There is no choice. If humanity falls, we all fall. The vote is meaningless now. We kneel." He lowered his head, and across the chamber, one by one, the delegates followed. Alien rulers who once spat on humanity's name now bowed, their faces pale, their pride broken. The chamber lights flickered as a transmission cut across every channel. The human commander appeared, his face lit by the glow of his burning flagship. His armor was scarred, his voice calm but cold. He stared directly into the council chamber, as if his eyes could pierce every soul. "You called us a threat. You branded us monsters. And now you see why. We fight what you cannot face. We bleed where you cannot stand. And now you beg for our help." The chamber was silent, every ruler frozen under his gaze. The commander's words cut like a blade. "We will fight. But you will not command us. From this day forward, if you wish to survive, you will follow us. Humanity will lead your fleets. Humanity will decide your war. If you refuse," his voice lowered, steady as steel, "then you will fall, and we will not save you." Shock rippled through the chamber. The demand was unthinkable. The council had ruled for thousands of years, their word law across the stars. But now, with monsters pouring from the prison, no one dared to deny him. The avian delegate lowered his wings, whispering, "We yield." The reptilian general slammed his clawed fist against his chest. "We follow." Crystalline voices echoed, "We obey." And so, in the space of a single battle, the council that once branded humanity a danger surrendered its throne. Back in the void, human fleets pushed forward. Alien ships fell in behind them, obeying their commands. For the first time in galactic history, every fleet, every empire, every ship fought under one banner, Earth's. Orders from human commanders spread across channels, directing strikes, formations, and counterattacks. And to the shock of every alien admiral, it worked. Their ships survived longer, their strikes hit harder, their chaos turned to order. Humanity had taken command, and the galaxy followed. But the storm only grew. More monsters erupted from the prison, wings blotting out the stars, eyes glowing with fire. The largest of them spread its claws, tearing through space itself, dragging entire fleets into burning voids. The battle raged, endless and brutal, yet still the humans pressed forward. On Earth, billions watched the transmissions in silence. Families huddled together, eyes locked on screens showing fathers, mothers, sons and daughters fighting among the stars. There was no fear in their eyes, only pride. Humanity had been condemned, mocked, erased from history. But now the galaxy saw them for what they truly were, the guardians of the stars. In the council chamber, the speaker raised his head once more, voice shaking but filled with awe. We begged for peace, and they gave us war. We begged for protection, and they became our shield. Humanity was never the danger. Humanity was the hope. Just as the chamber filled with desperate hope, new alarms screamed. Probes near the prison showed something even worse. Another gate opening, larger than all the rest, its glow brighter than any star. And from within, a colossal shadow rose, its size dwarfing even the greatest of human ships. Humanity had led them this far, but could even they stand against what was coming? The alarms echoed across the chamber, louder than thunder. Delegates froze as the screens flared with new images. From the broken prison walls, a gate unlike the others ignited, wider than planets, glowing like a second sun. Its light spread across the void, swallowing fleets in its glare. And then the shadow came. Larger than any beast before, its outlines stretched beyond senses. Its wings blotted out stars, its claws scraped against the fabric of space itself. Entire dreadnoughts were ants before it. For a moment, even the humans stood silent. The colossal creature opened its eyes, two burning red suns that glared across the galaxy. Its roar was not sound, but force. A crushing wave of terror that rattled every ship, shook every soldier, and silenced every channel. The galaxy had faced many wars, many enemies, but nothing like this. It was not just a monster. It was war itself, born from the dark before history. Alien admirals screamed orders, their fleets breaking in panic. Crews begged for retreat. Soldiers cried out in despair. But the human commander's voice cut through the chaos, cold and unshaken. Hold the line. The words carried across every fleet, every empire, binding them together. His flagship, scarred and burning, moved forward again. One by one, human warships followed, their engines burning brighter, their weapons charging. The galaxy's armies hesitated, then obeyed. Alien fleets fell in behind, no longer leaders, no longer proud. They were soldiers now, soldiers under Earth. The battle began. The colossal beast struck first, its claws ripping through dozens of ships in one sweep. Whole formations crumbled, explosions filling the void. Human dreadnoughts surged forward, beams of light slamming into the creature's hide, cutting deep wounds that glowed with fire. Carriers released endless swarms of fighters, their weapons tearing into its wings. Alien fleets followed, blasting with plasma, rockets, and energy cannons. For the first time in history, every weapon in the galaxy fired at one target. The beast roared again, its wings beating, unleashing a wave of energy that shattered hundreds of ships. The void burned with wreckage, fire, and blood. Yet the line held. Humans moved with unbreakable precision, their fleets shifting like one giant machine. When the beast struck, they blocked. When it roared, they fired. When alien ships faltered, humans filled the gap. It was not numbers that held the line. It was will. On the council world, rulers watched in silence, their faces pale, their hearts heavy. They had feared humanity for centuries, branded them monsters. But now they saw the truth. Humanity was the wall between the galaxy and annihilation. Every human soldier that burned in the void did so for them. Every ship that broke apart gave the galaxy another breath. The crystalline ambassador whispered, voice trembling, "They are not Deathworlders. They are guardians." The beast thrashed, its fury endless. Claws shredded dreadnoughts, jaws crushed carriers, energy blasts melted entire fleets. The galaxy bled, but humanity fought harder. Warships on fire rammed into its hide, detonating their cores. Fighters swarmed its eyes, soldiers launching boarding pods onto its body, detonating charges from within. The void shook with fury, but the line never broke. At the center, the human flagship moved closer, its hull burning, its weapons glowing brighter than ever. Inside, the commander stood tall, his voice steady. "This ends now." The ship's core opened, revealing the same weapon that had pierced the monsters before, but now larger, brighter, burning with the combined power of Earth and every colony they had hidden. The alien fleets shielded it, throwing their ships into the beast's path, sacrificing everything to buy seconds. Human dreadnoughts flanked it, their weapons tearing into the monster's wounds, forcing it to rear back. The commander gave the final order. "All ships, fire with us!" The galaxy obeyed. Every ship, human and alien, charged its weapons. Beams of every color lit the void. Missiles streaked like falling stars. Plasma burned like suns. And at the heart of it, the human flagship fired its spear of light. The void turned white, brighter than any star, as the combined strike hit the beast's chest. The monster screamed, a roar that shook galaxies, and then its body split apart. Wings shattered, claws broke, its burning core tearing open. Fire poured out into the void, consuming everything. Ships vanished in the blast, fleets burned, but still the humans pressed the attack. And then, with one final cry, the beast exploded, its body collapsing into nothing, swallowed by the same prison it had broken free from. The gate slammed shut, the cracks sealing, the void falling into silence. When the light faded, the battlefield was a graveyard. Thousands of ships drifted in ruin. Smoke and wreckage filled the stars. But amidst the silence, some ships still lived. Human fleets, battered but unbroken, stood at the front. Alien ships, fewer but still alive, floated behind them. Together, they had done the impossible. Together, they had survived. In the council chamber, rulers wept openly. For the first time in their history, they bowed not to themselves, but to Earth. The speaker lowered his head. "We called you a threat. We called you monsters. But you were the saviors all along. Without you, there is no galaxy." The transmission cut back to the human commander. His armor was cracked, his ship burning, but his eyes were steady. He looked at the galaxy's rulers, his words simple. "You feared us because you never understood us. We do not fight for conquest. We fight for survival. And now you know, without humanity there is no tomorrow." Silence followed. Across the stars, from the smallest colony to the greatest empire, aliens whispered the same truth. Humanity had been mocked, condemned, erased from history. But now, every race would remember them, not as threats, not as monsters, but as the shield that stood when all else fell. The story closed as Earth's fleet turned slowly back toward the stars, their ships scarred but unbroken, their engines glowing like embers in the night. Humanity had saved the galaxy, and the galaxy would never forget them again. As the silence of victory spread, deep in the void, far beyond the prison, a single probe caught a faint signal, a whisper in the dark. Not all of the enemy had been destroyed. Somewhere something else was waiting. Humanity's war was far from over.